So, folks, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another episode of Anti-Class Power Talks. And today we are talking to a very, very special guest of us. Like, as always, we believe in one very simple thing: celebrate the life of teachers. Um, when we talk about educators, वहाँ पे principals भी आते हैं, teachers भी आते हैं, parents भी आते हैं. At times, I feel students themselves are becoming educators. They know so much about technology. They teach us at times. So, first of all, I want to start by thanking that what a great response you guys have given to Alka Mukati ma'am's video. And if you have not seen the video, please go and see the journey of a teacher who has not even used WhatsApp properly in COVID times, and during the COVID times, she has transformed herself into a pro online teacher. So go and watch that video; it will be great. Now, coming to the point, we already have Jasneet Mundi ma'am, and she is educator par excellence for 20 years. But more than that, she believes into the very fact of constructive and very, very selective. I won't say selective, but very innovative ways of teaching online. So let's stick to the very particular point. Then we will come to a very interesting part of ma'am. But after we complete our 5 points, and till we complete the 5 points, of course, आपकी knowledge level तो increase होगी ही. But 5 points के बाद मैम अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ से भी बहुत कुछ बताएंगे और आपको मैम के बारे में बहुत कुछ जानने को मिलेगा. आप जैसे जैसे 5 points हम कवर करेंगे, आप ऑटोमेटिकली जान जाओगे कि मैम क्या क्या ऑलरेडी कर चुकी है. So let's not get more into this and straight away to just Geet Mundi ma'am. Ma'am, thank you so much for gracing our platform. It's an honor to have you.
Bless you. Good evening. And I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I am Mrs. Jasneet Mundi. I would like to introduce myself. I've been an educator for a few years, about 2 decades if you take it. And I'll quickly come to the point of education. One important factor is that education and literacy are different. In our country, we are mostly concentrating on making people literate.
Yeah.
We don't concentrate on education. Education is totally different.
Example of how literacy and education, both are two different aspects.
See, literacy means you can read and write. Education is a way of life. When your child has helped somebody smile, that is what your education has done. And when your child is just reading a book, that is literacy. So there's a difference. हम अपने बच्चों को क्या सिखाते हैं? हम अपने बच्चों को सिखाते हैं कि तुम कामयाब हो जाओ. You should be very successful. You should earn a lot of money. What we need to teach the children is life skills. We need to teach them to be happy. We need to teach them to be peaceful. That is it.
What is the one skill which you feel, being an educator for 2 decades, you feel is the most important
I'm
life
sorry,
skill?
your voice has just dropped. I didn't hear the question.
Which is the most important life skill according to you? You have been into this education field for the last 20 years. So you have seen extremely fast change, right? So according to you right now, keeping in mind artificial intelligence, keeping in mind so many changes in just about 5 minutes or so, what is one important skill for the students?
One important skill is to be a learner, whether it is you, I, or a child. And the second one is curiosity. Very important. We teachers are wonderful at killing a child's curiosity. We do that. Grade 1, the child is very curious. Ma'am, I want to know this. Ma'am, I want to tell this. And by the time the child grows, the teacher will tell her, okay, we'll come to it later. That kills the curiosity of the child. So the two factors, these are very important. You have to keep on learning. I'm still learning. This pandemic is horrible for the human race. Personally, it has been wonderful. I mean, I'm a kind of person who can hibernate, with my books and the internet, I can hibernate. So I don't have a problem staying at home.
Come to your books and a lot of other stuff as we move forward, but let's come to our very important topic. What are the 5 new ways of, engaging the students online according to you, what you are giving to our audiences today?
See, the five things are very necessary that you intersperse those five things with your normal teaching. So teaching has not changed. If you are an interested teacher, if you are a teacher with passion, if you are a teacher who takes it a profession with a hobby, as a hobby, then there is no problem. Then you are just, interweaving the new things with the old ones. So you have to be authentic. You have to be relevant, and that honesty has come to the children, because when you are teaching online, they concentrate on you much more. I have been able to finish my grade 12 syllabus by October. The reason was that the children were there without disturbance. If I put an audio for them, they were listening to the audio, they were quickly writing questions, and they were asking. If I put on a video which I had made for them where I was explaining a lesson, they were looking at it and listening to it. So there was no other disturbance. So you have to be relevant, you have to be sincere, you have to be authentic. Then they will be with you. This is what online teaching has taught me, because it has brought it out into the open. Earlier, it was something that you went to the class, you talked to them, you came back. Now the impact is more
So what you're saying is that specific is terrific. So you have to be very specific yet engaging.
engaging and honest. You cannot be a hypocrite. If you don't do that, then please don't expect your children to do it. I cannot tell my children, read books, read articles, read this, read that, and then I don't have material to discuss with them. I don't know what is happening in the world. I don't know what is happening in my country. I cannot use that knowledge in my class. So then it is of no use. Then the child is not going to do it. I carry a reading book with me, hard copy. I have one in my laptop. I have one in my phone. So if I have time, I'm reading, and they see that. And one good thing that we did in our school about 10 years ago, that was really wonderful. We have a specific reading time for the entire school, from the PN to the principal, teachers, children, 15 to 20 minutes, either in the morning, according to the timetable, or by the end of the school day.
Can you name your school and principal here? Because
Yes,
I think
definitely.
here a principal do have a great role to play for giving that amount of time for the teachers to read. Most of the schools
Absolutely.
I know, they don't give specific time for the teachers to read and put on more knowledge in their day-to-day
Yes,
classes.
because it is just, go teach and look at it as a profession. I am teaching in Ivy World School in Jalandhar, Punjab, and the principal is Mrs. Sanjeev Chauhan, and she herself is a voracious reader, and she has subscribed to so many of those groups according to her time, her friends, who put us in touch with so much of literature or so much of work that is happening right now in India. So it
So
gives you interactive
first
time.
point I'm taking is that be relevant, be engaging, and don't be a hypocrite. Like be honest, right?
No, don't be a hypocrite. Absolutely. The second
Okay.
point is, I found in online teaching the use of multimedia. So you require to update yourself. I am required to. I'm an English teacher. I'm technically challenged. I can read a manual and fly a plane. However, I have to figure it out. So I need literature to do that. So that is very important. And to update yourself, like you introduced in the beginning today for the session, that children teach us a lot. Wonderful. Actually, they do. We do have a system of flip classes also, where we tell the child to teach a particular topic. When they are revising, they make presentations and they become the teachers. In the same manner, when things are changing in the world, you need to look at the new generation. The other day, one of the kids, he just saw one of my pictures on the Instagram, and he says, he is my ex-student, and he says, "Ma'am, you haven't aged a day." I said, "My dear, I have got these wisdom highlights, and this is what age has brought it." So he writes, he says, "Ma'am, I think it is kids like us, who did this to you." I said, "No, beta, you people keep me young. This is, I'm umar ka taqaza hai, ab hum bade ho gaye hain." So that is why I have those wisdom highlights. So kids are the ones, who keep you younger, keep you in sync, keep you updated. I had to buy a laptop, so I asked one of my students who is really tech savvy, so much into games and this and that. I said, "Jay, you tell me which one I should buy." So he suggested, he says, "Ma'am, what do you require?" Which was a very good thing. Children will tell you how to approach. So he says, ma'am, what do you do on the laptop? I said, I read, I watch Turkish plays, and I do my presentations and all this stuff. He says, okay, fine. You need something which can download faster, get Asus. I asked my sons, get Asus. So I bought the laptop because of that kid. Now he updated me. I have no clue. I would just go to a shop and say, okay, mujhe ek acha sa laptop dikha do. And I don't know about the RAM and all that stuff, but they help you. In the same manner, in online teaching, children taught me how to make a YouTube video. Children taught me how to upload. Children taught me how to work on Google, which is God sent. And I had no clue. They would send me pathways. They would write, click this, click that. They would send pictures. They would highlight them. That ma'am, after this step. After this step. So number 2 is using media. What is available in the world, you need to use it. अब जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा? किसी को पता ही नहीं. We don't know about it. So we require to work on that. And that is very, very important. I hope that I'm audible to you, because I seem to be only one in the session. So I'll go to the third point. And the third point is involve the students to create your work, to create material. Very important. Required highly. Because when students participate, they make a difference. They are interested and they will be there for you when you are teaching them, which is really, really important. Otherwise, it is very difficult, to keep a child at the other side of the screen engaged in a lesson. When they know they have done something about it, definitely they'll work on it. Anupama, would you like to add something here? I think we seem to have had a break in the connection because I can't get to Anupama. So I need to just figure out whether I should continue or wait for her. Let's just see if they are at the other end. So I guess we've lost connection with Anupama, so I'll carry on. I was talking about creating and collaborating content with the students, which is quite important, because when they're part of the system, when they're part of the creation of the content, they're more interested. Then you have to induce a bit of humor into your teaching. I'll just take this call. Please give me a moment.
Ma'am, there was a network issue. I'm reconnecting.
Yeah, sure. I'm live and I am carrying on, so you can just come in whenever it's possible.
Yeah, I'm just connecting.
Sure. So what we need to do is we need to have a bit of humor. You might make a mistake and you can just take it from there. You can laugh about it. You can induce that point in your teaching, and you can use humor to make yourself more approachable. Online teaching is all about how approachable a teacher is, because that child is not in your radius. That child is in your technical radius. So physically, you can't be with the kid, but you can be with the kid technically. And to keep the child engaged in such a manner where the child is interested in listening to you, humor is a good aspect which helps. It really takes care of a lot of things around you. You should be giving a lot of examples. That is really important. Online teaching is about getting attention, the attention of the child, which has to be then channelized and focused towards learning. I mean, let's face it. All right. Ma'am, you're back. Anupama ma'am, I guess you're back here. You're here with us and you're on live TV. Okay, she's going to take some time. So when I was talking about discussing things and giving examples, it's really, really important. Examples will always bring you closer to the child. Because when
हेलो हेलो
अभी आ जाएगा. हाँ.
हेलो
Yeah.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. Now can you see me?
No. I can just see scheduling made easy. So that is what is on this page. Do you want me to reconnect, close it and come back?
Yeah, can you do so? It will be good.
Yeah, sure. I'll just reconnect. Here we are. Are we back?
Yeah. Am I?
Yes, you're visible. You're audible.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, just give me 1 minute.
So you
just give me 1 minute.
Sure, sure.
Okay, perfect.
I carried on for some time because I was the only one and I was live. So
okay.
I discussed a few other points.
I think we are live now.
Yes. All right, then I'll go to the next point. Or would you like to add something, Anupama? I wanted your input on giving examples.
To apologize for the audience that there was a bit of a network issue. Because of that, I had to completely shut off for some time. But thanks, we are back again, and thanks for keeping the audience engaged. So let's point number 2, which was that update yourself, keep on updating yourself, and your students helped you to pick up the laptop. That time I was there.
I took it further and I was talking about involving children in creating and collaborating content. So what I had already highlighted was that when
that was the third point.
That was the third point. And when you do that, children are more engaged because they have a bit of their own work involved. So they would like to see how it goes, tell them to create PPTs, tell them to get inputs, or tell them to do research, and then use that research, thank them, use their name, use the research to create your own content. So you mix it. That amalgamation really helps a child to be there on the other side of the screen, which is very important,
Otherwise, when you make the PPT, when the teachers make the PPT, should they credit the student for giving the content?
Absolutely. What I do is that I ask them to create PPTs for revision. Those presentations for the lessons, they are run in the lobby of the school. So any parent who is waiting, any guest who is waiting, they can go through those. Something that they really make nicely, we put it up. So you have the school functions and you have all these things, and then you have the children's work, which is very important. Kids need to know that they are important. And online teaching, because I have become better at making presentations, presenting an entire English lesson through presentations, audios and videos, adding videos from the YouTube, yes, which can help the children understand, because one of the lessons in grade 11 is about environment. So I was talking about Greta Thunberg and I was showing her videos. Then there's another one about speeches where I brought in the speeches of Nelson Mandela, and then I Have a Dream, that beautiful speech, Julius Caesar, because it was part of the syllabus earlier for them. Brutus and Antony are talking. It's a lovely speech, one of my favorites. So I bring those in, and that is how multimedia can help you. Because speaking about something, reading about something, and then looking and watching, that's different. You retain more and you connect better when you show them the presentation or a little video about how the world is losing the forests and you show them the effect. It has, it leaves an indelible mark. So that's important, you know. And kids will bring out other stuff, they will discuss about it, they will talk about, and then especially I'll give you an example. When I used to teach Julius Caesar to grade 10, currently I'm teaching 11th and 12th, and now you don't have Julius Caesar in grade 10 syllabus. So I used to teach the speech, and the first thing I taught them was, why are we reading Shakespeare after 600 years? Why? He was there in the 16th century and we're still reading about him. Why are we doing it? Because he used to write about humans, he used to write about people, and people don't change. You have the same problems in all generations. They are all greedy, they're all loving, or they're all into having power. That is why Shakespeare is important even today. Then the kids are interested, you know. Then they want to know, okay, fine, what happened? Treachery, still prevalent. Look at any scenario. Even today's political scenario can be compared to Julius Caesar. Anybody who's at the top, there are 100 people pulling him down. Same thing. So that connect has to be established. And that is for a teacher to do. And how you do it with the children, you have a better
What
connection.
is the fourth?
The fourth point is...
What is the fourth point?
Yes, we've just finished the fourth point. When we're talking about that you have to discuss with the children
collaborate.
And elaborate. The next point is objective of a lesson. Why are we reading or writing or learning this? Very important. That's the first thing you do.
This is also a question that I want to ask you. Means I want into this particular topic you include this, because when it was offline teaching, objective of a lesson was easy to was easy to figure out it is achieved in the class or not. But online, how the teacher will be also judged that the objective of the lesson is achieved or not.
You get their response. That is one. And another one is that you get their work with you. Like we have an online portal. So children are supposed to do their work and send it to us online, or click pictures and send it to us because I make them write. Since we are a pen paper country and the tests are going to be pen paper always. So I make them practice writing. Now, objective is, and then every week we have online tests, which are really, really interesting because we shifted from subjective to objective. And an objective test, an MCQ test will tell you how much the child has read and understood. Because when I sit and make an objective type paper, I open the book, I read the lesson, I frame the questions from the lesson, and I insist that the children read it. I read every lesson in the class. I make audios. So it's not that, okay, read page number this, page number that, we do the question answers. Never. So I tell them to read it again and again. And that is how you come to know when you have their objective answers, how much have they understood. When they ask in the class, ma'am, I didn't follow this, you know, and ma'am, how is this happening? And they have those wonderful theories. And it's not that I'm a miracle worker. I also have days when I have just about 4 or 5 children in the class. It happens, you know, they tend to go a little haywire after a few days. Fridays are horrible. Saturdays are terrible. You will hardly have a child coming to a class on a Saturday. And whatever you might do, they want a weekend off. And ours was initially a Monday to Friday school. So they're like, ma'am, why are we working on a Saturday? I said, welcome to the elder world. We are adults, you too. So you're almost 18. This is life. So you work from Monday to Saturday.
Let's sum up the 5 topics in just one sentences again and review it. The very first one was staying relevant. The second one was be updated. Third one, you please carry on.
Third one was that you have to involve the children in your
Okay.
work. All right.
Fourth is collaboration.
Yes. And of course, the fourth one was that you have to work with the objective of the lesson, which is very, very important. And you need to tell the children why they are doing this. You have to
So,
convince a child.
I want you to give a magic trick that generally works for you in English class, which you think that for all the teachers it can work. So, what's your magic trick for the teachers?
Look at me. Smile.
Presentable.
Yes. Presentation, humor, and don't be a grasshopper in the class. Don't be a grasshopper in life. You're not
What does
supposed to.
this grasshopper means? Like, can you decode this grasshopper? Yeah.
I can do this wonderfully, you know. This is my theory in life. Nothing should phase you out in a class. I have had lovely incidents, you know. Once I went to the class, we have a register where every teacher writes what she does in the class. So the topic is written and you sign it and everything, and the homework and classwork is written. So I went and I generally go to the class. I start wishing them because they have that sing song thing. So I tell them, okay, you just stand, I'll wish you, and you just say thank you. So as I do this, I approach the desk, I open the register, and there is a huge cockroach, this big, if you can see this. This bigger cockroach, dead in the register. So now this was grade 12. This was about 4 years back. Now they expected me to shout or to jump or to just, you know, go crazy. So I opened it and I kept talking to them. I said, okay, we're going to do this today and this and that, whatever. And I went to the dustbin and I threw the cockroach in the dustbin. I just flicked it with my pen and I threw it in the dustbin. And I came back, I put it there and I continued. And all the kids who thought, you know, that they are going to make me jump and make me the grasshopper, they realized it's not going to happen. Now, I'm not a fan of cockroaches. I hate them. I don't like lizards. I absolutely detest them. However, when I am a professional and there are children who are younger than me, I cannot give them an example of going bonkers in the class. So you have to be actually alert. You have to have a nice smile and a good presentation, and you have to be prepared for everything being thrown at you. My own son, he was told once by a teacher, he had a paper ball in his hand. He was in, I think, grade 10. So she just got a little irked and she said, okay, throw it. He threw it. The teacher lost it. She was like, how can you do this? How? He said, you told me to throw it. I threw it. You have to be very careful about what you tell the children to do. Sometimes, you know, they come up with, ma'am, how do we write? I said, beta, from left to right, top to bottom. It is English. Urdu thodi hai, jo tum right se left likhoge.
This is a very interesting and very intelligent answer, I must say.
Yes, yes. And then they're like, oh. I said, yes, that is what you do. And then they come up with, okay, start writing, ma'am, where? So now I tell them, open your registers.
And especially for 11th and 12th kids, I won't say kids, they're pretty much adults, they use their mind, yeah?
See, their sole aim is to disconcert you. You come to the class and they just want you to run out of the class crying. And they try everything. But then when you tell them, okay, and then I tell them about my naughtiness, you know, as a child, I remember in grade 9, I had put chalk on the chair. It was a cane chair. I had put chalk on that. And one of the gentlemen, the sirs who used to teach us, he used to alternate between a black and a brown trouser. So you never knew, you know, whether he had more of them or he had just 2 of them or whatever. So I put chalk on the chair and we waited for 15 minutes for the teacher to sit. So we were like, you know, whatever he was teaching, he was a physics teacher. Baithega kam. Finally, he sat after teaching. And we were all like, okay, now we're going to have that pattern on the back. So I had done my bit of naughtiness. And I was a very precocious child. Naughty, talkative, chatterbox. I was the one who went on in grade 7 on the stage and recited a poem. I'm not a chatterbox. And the entire school was laughing. Because they knew this girl just doesn't keep quiet. And that time I was a girl, okay? Not anymore. So I have done all that. And I know how naughty children can be. And of course, I don't mind being surprised, but it's okay. You work through. So you should have that sense of humor to take it nicely. And you should always be there for the children. That is very important. Your children, the children in your class, are actually yours. Own them. And only then they are going to form that connection with you. Once that connection is forged, wonderful. I had a wonderful grade 12 result this year. I had two children scoring 100 in English. I had two children scoring 99. My lowest in the entire class was 80. Nobody got below 80. And the only reason was the connection. They listened and they worked on it,
Okay.
which
Now
is
I have a question. uh, of course, it's a proven track record over the years that you, as a teacher, you have groomed, you have grown, you have learned, unlearned, which is also very
still
important.
learning.
Not just learning, but unlearning also things so that you can learn new things. So, what I want to ask before we wind up, first of all, I want to promise that you will be back into our show again.
Anytime. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
The second teacher, like in 20 years, in 2 decades, you must have experienced so many things, like hell lot of things. What is the difference between your first decade of teaching and your second decade of teaching, and how you're going to, you are assuming the third decade to be?
Loads and loads of difference. Actually, decade is too long a time. Since I worked only for 2 decades, so you centered on 2 decades. The first decade was mostly spent with chalk and board,
Mhm.
and it was mostly spent teaching them in those normal ways. And I, as a teacher, was learning a lot. I mean,
Learning in what sense? Like
I
regarding the behavioral pattern of the
no, no, no,
students, or
no. Teaching. Teaching is an art, and I have worked in many schools over the years since I had been shifting from one place to another.
not
And
I need to also mention here that you have a very strong army background, which also.
fourth generation, that's strong. Since World War One, and still going. My one of my nephews is in the army, and my son would like to go into the army the moment he finishes graduation. So we are a very strong army family. So we're a typical Punjabi family where you have somebody or the other in the army in every generation. So
So,
that is
do
the
you
reason.
think the army background has helped you to be very disciplined in teaching? Because generally, teachers, the kind of outlook we have for teachers is a bit boring. They're not updated. They're like very haywire. But when I see you, it's a different outlook altogether. You're very disciplined, very much presentable. You're updated with the knowledge. You have a very nice, smooth relationship with your students. Now, this is the reason I asked you. So, what was the major difference between your first decade and your second decade?
But there the difference was only this: the technology that I'm using now, I wasn't using then, and I was learning the techniques of teaching English. So one thing, when I was working in all those good schools, I picked up wonderful stuff. Pattern of writing. I worked in a school where a grade one child could read what was written in a grade 10 class on the blackboard. Reason: the entire school wrote in print. The teachers used to learn to write in print when they joined the school. Parents used to learn, children used to learn.
Okay.
So wonderful techniques. And certain things that I picked up over there: editing. Editing is very important. Which
Ah.
I learned in the first decade, that you have to be there to see the mistake and zero down on it. Children tell me often, हमें तो नहीं दिखता, आपको कैसे दिख जाता है? मैं कहा, बेटा, this is my profession. This is what I'm paid for. And can you beat it? Working in that school, I would automatically edit billboards, newspapers, articles, anything I read, I edited. Because that person who owns the school made sure that you did it everywhere. You had to have a certain place for the date, certain pattern for the date. You had to write the heading in a certain place. You won't deviate. So when you won't deviate, you follow that, and it was a wonderful system. So this is just one little example I'm talking about. Another school, when computers came in and we were told you have to type your question paper. I mean, for a computer teacher, it is okay. For an English teacher, 6 to 8 double pages of typing, it is horrible and you know nothing about it. I learned it. I learned it in one of the schools in Jammu, where the principal said, no, CBSE says you have to type your own papers. You'll not get help. So that was another thing. But in this later period, in the last 10 years or 8 years, I have actually picked up the difference is the international level. So earlier, if I was working at the national level, now I'm operating at the international level, teaching wise. Because now when I travel abroad, I go and study the system of a school. Then I try to take a walk in a school. I try to find out what they are doing, how they. I remember I went to Australia in 2015 and I came back with ebooks. So they were using ebooks over there at that time. We introduced ebooks in our school also here presently, but then we had a little problem because internet, we didn't give it to them. So it was just a book. So we are improvising. Now we have given them tabs and we have a tab kit class for the little children. So these are things that you pick up in every school. I gave a workshop in a Dubai school. I went to one of my friends. I was there for a vacation, and she was the headmistress of the school. So she said, "Why don't you teach one of the classes?" So I had a workshop with the teachers, and I taught the children, and I learned a lot of things over there. Those things are like exit slips, entry slips. You know, you were talking about how do you find out whether you have reached that objective or not. You tell the children to write one question, which you give them in the beginning of the lesson, a little question, and you tell them you write the answer when you are ready to write the answer from the lesson as I teach, and you give them
Yes,
slips.
that's a pinpoint for sure.
Yes. So I learned it over there, and I started doing that, and you get instantly the entire thing with you.
Now here comes another question. What is the major learnings for you from your Dubai trip and from your Australia trip regarding strictly to education?
See, there it was the technical advancement and what all can be done. You can look beyond books. Before that, even I won't do online reading. Then, when you start doing that, you realize so much is available in the world. You don't have to go buy a book. You just have to find it. And that their innovation is they will never tell a child to learn something. They will show the child, they will give the child a pathway, and they will take the child, guide him to that particular place, him or her. This is what we started then here. Now, see, the new education policy is talking about all these things. It is not important to learn and puke.
Absolutely. Now, here comes one of my last, questions. That if you want to change something for the teachers or for the students or for the parents or for the education system in whole, pick out three things that you are going to change.
Three
You
things.
want to change.
Three things.
Yeah.
First, I would like to change the attitude of the parents. Parents have high expectations from their children and they don't let the children be. They are not ready to tell a child that we love you unconditionally. Not if you get 100 on 100 or 90 on 100. So
Can
the
you
parent,
tell our audiences what you have told to your kids,
yes, I
which
did.
we were discussing yesterday?
I told my children, I said, you don't have to score more than 61% in any of the classes. And if you want to really work hard, do it in 10th and 12th because it matters over there in India. So I said, don't kill yourself. Go play games. Do whatever you want to. The elder one, yes, I had to guide him into medical because he wanted to be a writer. He still wants to be a writer. But then as a parent, I realized in India, he cannot earn so much as a writer. So he needs a professional degree. So I said, okay, you get a degree and whether you use it or not, it's up to you. You do that. And then after that, you do whatever you like. मेरी तरफ से तुम टमाटरों की रेडी लगा लो, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. You know, because you are earning, you have a professional degree, you are a dental doctor, and then you do whatever you like. You travel the world, you work with organizations, you do social work, you sit on a hilltop and you become a sage. I don't care. But since I come from a family where three generations of professionals, postgraduates, so I want my children to get a good education. With the younger one, he said, I'll do non-medical. I said, beta, maths to tumhe aata nahi hai. Tum non-medical to rehne do. Commerce karo. So he won't listen to me. Then the elder one told him, he says, listen, my dear, the people who study commerce run the world and create jobs for the medical and the engineering profession.
Yeah.
So you will do commerce. And he really listens to his elder brother. They're very close and he just does whatever his elder brother tells him. So he comes to me and he says, okay, mom, I'll do commerce. I'll do finance. मैं कहा ठीक है भाई कर लो. And 2 years, 11th and 12th, my younger son went regularly to the gym. He played games. He read books.
Enjoy
He had,
his teenage.
yes, and he had a life. No, he is not the type to run around. So I don't have those kind of children because we tend to stay at home and we tend to have everything at home. So we're not too much into going here, going there. And being a single parent, I couldn't afford to take my children everywhere. So I told them, I said, see, मैं इतना नहीं घूम सकती. तो हफ्ते में 1-2 बार बताया करो क्या चाहिए. I'll go out and get it, or when I'm coming back from school. Otherwise, we stay at home. So he would go to the gym. He would read books, and he would play his computer games. I never asked my son when he slept. Sometimes he would sleep in the class, and the teachers would tell me, "Ma'am, सो गया वो class में सो गया." मैं कहा वो रात को नहीं सोया होगा. But I didn't get after his life because he also said, he says, "Mama, I'll do what I need to do, and I'll work on it." But then
So that's the one thing that parents need to change. What's the second thing?
Second thing, children need to find happiness. You will get whatever you find. You will get whatever you look for. This is for everybody actually. And children require to dream. Because generally, a child is living a parent's dream. My own elder son is. My brother was a doctor. I wanted my son to be a doctor because God rest his soul, I lost my brother very soon. So I thought, doctor to tumhe banna padega. So I did it with him. So मैंने भी करा है. But at the end of the day, children require to dream and children require to have their own dreams.
Because what I admired in this answer is that you said that he's living my dream, but I want the kids to live their dream.
Yes.
It's a very beautiful thing. The second thing I want to say here, today I was listening to a podcast by Chetan Bhagat, and Chetan Bhagat said a very beautiful thing. He said, "Dukh mein sukh hai, sukh mein dukh hai." So the other interviewer, I think he is also the curator of Men's Sutra. Men's Sutra is a very popular channel, YouTube channel. So he said, what does that mean? So he said, देखो, दुख में सुख कैसा नहीं, सुख में दुख देखो कैसा है. सुख तुम्हारा ये हो सकता है कि मैं गुलाब जामुन खा लूंगा, ये सुख है. ज्यादा सुख भोग करोगे तो बाद में दुख होगा क्योंकि तुम बीमार पड़ जाओगे,
मोटे हो जाओगे,
बीमार भी पड़ सकते हो. ओके, सुख में दुख है. दुख में सुख कैसा? Suppose you have said, no, I'm not going to have a gulab jamun, I'm going to take care of my health. So इसमें दुख है, मगर जब आपका बॉडी फिट होगा, आपके अच्छे फोटोग्राफ्स आएंगे, ये छोड़ो, फोटोग्राफ्स छोड़ो, बट the more you take care of your body, the more you become productive, the more your work intensifies. So दुख में सुख भोग रहे हो आप.
See, these are interrelated things. Now, life teaches you. If you have a bad day, then rest assured, anything would be better. Now, I have a theory. One of my friends helped me out with this one. And she's a wonderful person. I think I should get you in touch with her as well. She's even better than I am. So she said, no, she's a teacher and she is wonderful. So she says that I always look at a problem and I see the worst. What would be the worst? सबसे बुरा क्या हो सकता है इस सिचुएशन में, ठीक है? Then I prepare for that. Once you're prepared for the worst, you can walk through. And please understand, life, as long as you're living, you have to walk through it. God will give you only those many problems, as many you can handle. The day you can't handle, you will die. It's very simple. So we come to the theory. You're alive, you can do it. It's very
What's the
simple.
third point? What's the third thing you want to change?
Third point is for the teachers. You have to enjoy your work. Please stop behaving like autocrats. You can't.
I want to add on something. Can I add on something?
Sure, definitely.
I think if you are not interested in teaching, then just for the sake of कि कुछ पैसे earn हो जाएगा, don't come to teaching.
नहीं, अनुपमा, I differ here. कोई टीचर ये सोच के नहीं आता कि वो टीचर बनेगा. ये syndrome 5th में खत्म हो जाता है. Till grade 5, children, look at a teacher and they say, मैं भी टीचर बनूंगी. I want to be like my ma'am or sir. उसके बाद खत्म हो जाता है. हिंदुस्तान में सब पैसा कमाना चाहते हैं. Nobody comes into the teaching profession thinking, From the very beginning, I always wanted to be a teacher. If I say that, I'm lying. I
But
never
I
wanted to
always
be a
wanted to be,
teacher.
honestly.
So maybe you're the only one I've met. And
No,
who
sorry.
also,
My mom, still now she says that I haven't heard from you anything else that you want to become apart from a teacher. I don't know what you're doing in the business line. So I said, you know what? I think the kind of a teacher I am, I can create many more people like me. I want to create a community of teachers like
yes,
me. So
yes,
I'm
good.
means the more I'm getting into MB class or the power talks, trust me, Jasjeet ma'am, I'm meeting exactly better people like me who are into teaching. Earlier, I used to feel, am I the only one who enjoys teaching? Now I know, no, there's so many other people who enjoy way above teaching than
No, no,
me.
no. We can't, take credit for all that, you and I. I'm telling you, there are lots and lots of people who are doing a lot of good work. But the point is that mostly people come into this profession because of varied reasons. I came into this profession because I wanted to be with my boys. I have two sons, and since my husband was in the army, so he would be posted out for 2 years and he would come, 6 months once and like that. So my mother was very clear. She said, see, if you want to look after your boys, you have to be with them. So get into teaching. You're qualified, you can work on it. Good, go through it. However, since my children were in school, I have looked at every child as if he or she is my own, because there were so many people who looked after my
Yeah,
children.
if you say ma'am itself, the first two words, it's ma. And just cut
Yes,
off the M.
yes. And when other people were looking after my children, I always felt, that I have to look after every kid who comes to me. And that is what created the love for teaching. And slowly I started loving it, I started enjoying it. And then the best thing was that I could continue my reading. This is one profession which allows me to do what I love to do. I could travel, I could talk about these things, and I'm a talker. And when I have those kind of experiences, I love to share with my children. I remember coming back from a trip abroad, and I was the grade IC for grade 6 at that time.
Mhm.
So I got gummy bears from that place for the children. And I gave them those little gummy bears, just two each, because I had a huge class of 45, I think. No, 30. So I distributed them. Kids were over the moon. Ma'am, हमारे लिए gummy bears लाए हैं बाहर से. And they were like, they were so ecstatic. But then I wanted to do it because my son was buying them. So I said, fine, I'll buy something for my class also. Little things.
Exactly, Jasjeet ma'am. It happened with me also. I went to Sikkim for some reason, and then my friends bought something and said, "No, I want to buy something for my class also." Yours was 30, mine was more than 200.
No, we don't have so many in one class.
No, no,
We
no.
don't,
And it's not one class, like so many
for
sections I
everybody.
used to teach. I used to teach 17
Yes,
sections. So
yes.
I actually bought 17 sections gifts.
It's just wonderful, Children's Day. My friend and I, we're both teaching. So we buy things for the kids for our class. And then, they will come. Now, I'm teaching so many of them. So they'll say, अपनी class को दे दिया, हमें नहीं दिया. मैं कहा, बेटा, तुम्हारा class teacher तुम्हें देगा. हम अभी अपने बच्चों को देंगे. But then you tend, I love to distribute those. You have them for the books. So I give them those bookmarks, and I give them things which they can use later. And I try to, then if somebody does something nice, I give the child the book. I have books in my
While
office.
talking to you, I got an idea now. This I want to suggest you also can do in your school.
Sure, sure.
Else, if audiences are listening, just now you said bookmarks, right? So when the school reopens or in any other day, you can make a group of 10 or 15 and you can tell each other, take their photographs as printout and make bookmarks out of it. Maybe two friends taking a picture together or
Wonderful idea.
collaging
Yes.
and then making a bookmark and gifting it to them.
Yes,
It
because
will be very
generally,
personal,
sure, sure.
personalized.
What I do is I make bookmarks for as welcome cards for the children. So
Wow.
I make a small welcome card, and I then teach them how to create a bookmark out of it by sticking two sides. So you can just, put it like a pocket on the page. So I do that, but this is a better idea. Now what we can do is we can have a picture with the children and we can use that as a bookmark.
Yeah,
Thank you so
that
much.
would be
Good
really
idea.
nice. Okay, with that note, Jaspreet ma'am, I take a leave, but with that promise that you're going to come back with more interesting facts from your teaching world. I think teaching world itself has every day we have a new story to tell, beautiful learnings comes out, and there's so
Love
much
it.
to share. And at MD Class Power Talk, we really want to empower teachers. We really want to celebrate teaching life. And more than that, the day, there is a sir called as Khan Sir in YouTube, and he's very famous. I was listening to one of his interviews, and he's like proper Bhojpuri mein padhate hain. And, at our home, it is like a regular routine that we watch his videos. It's very informative, educational videos that he uploads. So, and one day my mom said, "Why do you watch his videos so much? He speaks in Bhojpuri." You know what? I realized for the very first time, it doesn't matter because he enjoys it.
Yes.
And then happened like I was watching one of his videos, his interview suddenly. He said a very beautiful thing, and I realized if that could happen in India, India again can be the Sony ki chidiya. Why? He said जिस दिन हमारे देश में जैसे जो हमारी जो यंगिस्तान है मूवी देखने के लिए जैसे मूवी थिएटर में ऐसे भाग भाग के जाते पॉपकॉर्न ले लेके जिस दिन वैसे ही वो लोग पढ़ने के लिए बैठ जाए उसके लिए टीचर को भी मूवी दिखाना पड़ेगा
बिल्कुल
आपको पढ़ाना ऐसा है कि आप मूवी दिखा रहे हो बच्चों को आपकी क्लास में आके वो एंजॉय करें और एंजॉय करेंगे तभी सीख जाएंगे जिस दिन ऐसा होगा इंडिया को आगे बढ़ने से कोई नहीं रोक सकता है
Yeah, I'm very lucky, being an English teacher, मैं तो ड्रामा ही करती हूँ क्लास में. The moment I enter, it is like, okay, and then anything I read, it has to be with expression. So,
Yeah.
वो तो हम तो करते ही हैं, वो पूरी picture चलती है, and that is how you engage them. Absolutely.
And this is the reason also that at MB Class Power Talk, genuinely we want to celebrate the teachers who enjoy teaching, so that when you guys become a role model, people can come and learn from you guys. So, oh wow, she teaches well. I also want to teach like her.
Everybody can teach better. I'm also learning, and there are loads and loads of things that I have learned today. So that is really interesting. Thank you so much for giving me your time and for giving me time with the audience. It was really nice being here with you. Thank you.
I'm super, super, super excited for our next video.
बिल्कुल हमारी books रह गई हैं आज. We haven't been able to talk about the books.
Yes, we haven't been able to talk about two things. First, your personal journey, which is itself a huge story, and the second thing is the love of your books. It's like your, the love of your life. Your two pets.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It was a pleasure being with you.
Same here. Same. The honor is all mine, ma'am. We want to ask before we end up, you guys have something very excited coming up. But if you want that exciting piece of gift to your door, so you have to answer us two questions. First, question is, ma'am, Jasjeet ma'am's first eldest son or the second son actually is getting a dental degree. So the first son or the second son? And the second question is, when I asked ma'am what is the three things she wants to change in education, what was her second point? If you can comment below, then you will get a good gift from us.
Good idea, huh? Everybody will go back to the video. Wonderful, smart.
I actually learned it from you today because you said me that,
exit clips.
Exit clips, yes, I applied it.
See, you're learning. Good, good.
I love it, and that's a great idea.
Thank you so much.
Okay.